All right, guys, welcome to the Raised Rowdy podcast. My name is Kurt Ozan.
That's not fucking Orca.
All right. And
Go
Nick
again.
is
No,
my-
go again.
Okay. All right, whose podcast is this, Tyler? Get fucked. All right. Nick is here also, and my bandmate and band leader and boss friend, Tyler King.
God, friend was last out of all four of those.
Best for last, buddy. Welcome.
Yeah,
Yay.
Tyler,
Hello.
thanks for coming out to Mount Juliet or wherever we are.
Yes.
Are we in Mount Juliet?
Yeah, it's pretty close if not.
Wild.
We're somewhere between Hermitage, Mount Juliet, and Old Hickory.
Hell yeah.
Yum.
Tractor Supply.
I was going to say we're somewhere between a Tractor Supply and an O'Reilly's.
Yeah. O'Reilly. Well, thank you for coming out and being here with us on one of your guys' few weekends in town.
Yeah, absolutely.
good.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I know it's not the shortest drive for you, so
No,
we
it's not.
appreciate
It's
it.
not terrible. It's like an hour.
Yeah,
give or take, but
not
yeah.
too bad.
Not too bad at all. I'm used to it.
Kurt and I were talking, and we were like, "Why don't we do just like a check-in episode?" And like, I was like, "You can talk about like road life and you know what's going on with your guys' stadium tour and all the fun stuff." And he's like, "Why don't we have Tyler on to talk about that stuff too?"
Hell yeah.
So we're super thankful to have you
Yeah.
here.
Thanks for having me.
Yay.
Yeah, and we've of course talked extensively, but never in front of people on a video camera. You know.
That's true. Yeah, we've done other things in front of people on a video camera,
Yeah,
but not talk.
that's different stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just for the home internet,
Right.
You know.
Got it.
Yes. Intranet.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of thought it would be kind of fun to just kind of start about like, because you and I both have the same gig, same job,
Well,
essentially.
Yeah, I feel like yours is more like intent. I feel like you just got a lot more to think about. Well, I don't know. BandLeader, that side of it has a lot, but like, man, anymore, we got you and Dustin and Jamie up there just ripping guitars and steels and banjos and shit. And I just sit over there and play rhythm guitar and sing, and it's the dream gig for me. It's just awesome.
Right, but I think it's interesting how you and I both got our dream jobs, both playing for Luke.
Yep.
And if you haven't figured that out yet, Tyler plays for Luke and is our band leader. And but I think it's interesting how different our backgrounds are. They're like, just like completely
Polar
different.
opposite,
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna say, yeah. So why don't you let the people in, let them know how you kind of ended up where you're at? Because I feel like we have a lot of like band guys that listen to the podcast sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like
And
Matt.
artists, young artists too.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, so I was kind of doing my own thing, singer-songwriter stuff. I started playing in bars, acoustic, when I was like maybe 15, before I could drive, 14 or 15.
It's crazy.
And so Dad was driving me around, to the bars, and like we had to carry like a copy of the law. There was a specific law in Oklahoma that said you could work. I think maybe it was made for musicians originally, maybe, but it was like you could work in the bar as long as you, I think, had somebody there with you, a parent or guardian, over whatever age, and you weren't drinking. So it's like, okay, great, and I didn't for a long time, for 3 or 4 years. Anyway, so I did that for a while, moved to Nashville, was kind of doing that, fell into the Luke gig, just kind of filling in, sort of, and they couldn't shake me. That was 2015. That was April 2015 was my first show with Luke, first weekend.
Weren't you at like a Buffalo Wild Wings with Costa or something?
I was, yeah. I was in Hendersonville at Buffalo Wild Wings with Joe Costa of Joe and Martina. And I think Martina was there too. I don't know who all was there, but he was playing bass and had a van. And so he was renting his van to Luke as well as playing bass at fraternity shows or just kind of random one-off shows. And then it was like, okay, they had booked a few shows and had started playing, and their guy had another gig booked with like a artist at that time who had a label deal. And
Can you imagine?
Yeah, I mean, what do you do? And so I filled in, and then I just kind of went on the road with him the next weekend because he came to the Saturday show in Rome, Georgia. The player, he drove himself from I think it was like Texas, a long way to be there. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just hang and get drunk. I was like 21. I was like, yeah, I'll hang and get drunk and like talk to women or whatever. And so they're like, no, just come play. So I played and sang, because I sang harmony, because I can learn the harmonies easier and the lyrics easier than I can the guitar stuff. And so I kind of learned that stuff. So I was like just kind of fucking off on guitar for most of that show. God, man, if you hear those videos, those YouTube videos from back in the day are just brutal. They're so bad.
Oh boy.
They're so bad. Please don't look them up. Never mind. They don't exist.
Streisand effect or whatever.
Yeah. And then they just, I don't know. At some point, Luke got so busy booking shows that I couldn't do both. I couldn't do my own thing and do his thing. And so I just kind of had to make the decision. It's like the writing was on the wall. I mean, I didn't know we would be in stadiums and and that kind of thing. Kurt's, like you said, it's our dream job. It wasn't. I mean, I didn't know it was my dream job until it became that, and it's like, I mean, it's great, but yeah, I just had to make that decision and did it, and I'm very thankful I did. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's wild. It's like your first and like last job has just been gigging. Like you've been, so you're about to turn 31, right?
Yep.
And so you've been essentially playing in bars and touring for half of your life.
Yep.
Over half.
Over
your
half
life.
now. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's wild to think about. God, I'm getting old. Damn it.
You used to be the really young kid
I
in the
know.
band. Now you're in your 30s, dude.
I know, right? But so is everybody else, so it makes me feel better.
Right.
Yeah. At least everybody's still older than you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it just seems like it's kind of cool. Your like kind of career trajectory is interesting because it's like it seems like you've always known basically what you've wanted to do, and you've just been doing that, and now you're just exceptionally good at it.
Well, yeah, I mean that's a strong word. I feel like, but yeah, I mean it's I always sang, and I guess I had supportive like family and parents who like were like always like encouraging me to sing and wanting me to sing and like showing off me singing to their different other family and friends, and then us again supported me when I was before I could drive, taking me to bars and being around a bunch of drunks with smoking cigs and stuff. It's like, man, I'll never forget that the smell of the trailer opening up the next day after all this stuff's been in a bar all night, and I'm 15. I'm just then I go to school the next day or whatever, I'm playing until 3 a.m. on a Wednesday, and and then now we're here. It's been wild, but yeah, like I said, I was fortunate enough to have supportive enough parents who I had a full ride academic scholarship and dropped out like a month or two in, and just most parents would have been like beat the hell out of you or something.
Oh, for college.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I quit that and moved to Nashville, and it's like most parents wouldn't have been accepting of that, I don't think. So so I was fortunate in that regard, and then just hung on to the Luke thing once I got here, and man, really thankful for it. So
Well, how about the BandLeader thing? Like, how did that like come to be, and what is that brought to you? Like, made you develop a different side of things?
What do you do?
Yeah.
Well, I print set lists.
Yeah.
I'm really good at working with PDFs and Word docs.
Yeah.
No, so the bandleader thing, we had Rob was the bandleader for a long time in the beginning, just not by like not intentionally. It was just like he was one of the only guys that Luke had at the time before I was playing that had ever gigged or anything, and so he was just kind of helping out doing that, and that just kind of was his role. And then Delaney, our bass player before Maxwell, was the band leader after Rob, and then Delaney left the band during COVID, and I always say we lost Baker because like that's what it felt like to us. We lost him, but like I always say you can't say you lost somebody during COVID because that people think something different. He's still alive. I love you, Baker. And then so it was just like we had to figure out somebody to do it, and I threw my hat in the ring. Kind of a control freak, so it works out. No, not really. I hope I don't feel like a control freak.
No,
sometimes.
I love your leadership style. I think it's great.
My leadership style is I don't know what the hell I'm doing, and I'm very thankful to have 6 other guys that do. So.
Right. I think the role of a band leader, for those that are listening that don't understand, it's kind of like you're the liaison between the music and the artist, and then also to it becoming what it is on the stage live.
Yes, and then if further from that, like onto the liaison between the band and the artist, and sometimes management or the label or things like that. There's all kinds of little things when you're doing TV appearances, award shows, all kind of. That's really. For the most part, once we get the set dialed in, that's kind of stressful getting the medley in the set and that thing. We spent a solid week, like a really long week this year doing that. And it's great, the set, because we did 2 separate sets this year. 2 separate intros, 2 separate, endings and encore and 2 separate, just runs of the entire show. And that was way more stressful than I thought it ever could have been. And but we nailed it, I think.
We did.
Okay, cool. But we nailed it.
Nailed it.
I got sidetracked. What were we going on
Just
about?
talking about what you're doing as a
Oh
band
yeah.
leader.
So like that's super stressful. But once the show's kind of dialed in and we're comfortable with it, which I feel like we are now. This will be our 6th or 7th set of shows, weekend of shows. Then it's like the work is like doing the TV shows and getting ready for that. And it's like you have to kind of communicate with all those people and the producers and the et ceteras. and like I said, I don't know. It's just I feel like it's a super collaborative thing. The band leader. I don't know that it's like that for every group. Maybe some band leaders are more like versed in, they can probably sit down and program the whole set, in Pro Tools or whatever, and get it all laid out, and then just say here's what we're doing. I'm not good at that, so we have to. It's very, very collective.
Yeah.
So
It feels like it did when I was playing my garage band. It's kind of like everyone throws ideas in, and then everyone kind of generally agrees. And if we're kind of stuck on something, then Tyler will make like the executive decision.
Makes sense.
Which is, I think, why it's so exhausting for me is the decision fatigue. Like I've learned that term recently because of, I don't know, internet.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, once that's really what it is. You summed it up perfectly. It's like, it's super collective. And then it's like, at the end of the day, somebody's got to make a judgment call. And then sometimes it's wrong and but we correct. I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned is like, it's cool to fuck up. You just got to just change it next time or make it better next time or whatever. And we're always trying to figure out how to be better. So
it's just wild because you were a kid playing cover gigs in Oklahoma, and now you're like leading this multi-million-dollar business really that is Luke Combs, like musically.
the
part of it.
Yeah, the live music, the live side of it. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a lot more that goes into his career as a whole. But yeah, as far as the live, as far as the live side, as far as what 40 to 60,000 people are seeing twice a week right now it's a lot of pressure for sure. But it's I mean, I wouldn't rather be doing anything else, literally.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy, man. It's like because we're out there, it's just us. It's like no tracks or anything, and as a band, we come up with the set. And what if people don't like this?
If it flops, it's on us.
You know what I mean? Or if we fuck up or something.
It's like the songs are there. Obviously, Luke's got all the hits.
Right.
Obviously,
everyone's a number one.
Yeah, obviously Luke's a great. Yeah, we have to pick which ones we don't want to play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, Luke's an incredible singer, and got a really nice, welcoming presence on stage, and that people want to be around and want to be near. And then everything else is just us, and it's like it's ours to fuck up. So it's a little stressful, but that's what makes it so fun because our philosophy is just like it's live music, and it's like if you know, and not knocking anybody that does tracks because there's sometimes where you're up against if you're in a lineup with 3 or 4 or 5 other acts that are all running tracks and you're not, you better be pretty damn slamming. And even then, even if you're doing the best you can do and the biggest you can be, it's like you can't necessarily stand up when they're playing, half of what you're hearing is the record.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's just our philosophy is just like we want it to be a unique experience. And it is every night. We're playing something a little different every night. It's going to sound a little different every night.
Yeah.
And so that's what we like about it. It's just fun and it's a little on the fly, off the cuff. So.
And Luke is cool to collaborate with, and he's very trusting, I would say.
Oh, yeah, too much.
Yeah. Because it's like we would get in a rehearsal before the tour started and play through everything and then work some stuff up. And then it's like, how do we put all the songs together? Because he's got some slower hits, so you got to play those. But you don't want people to get too tired and sleepy. And then so it's like trying to balance like the up tempo and trying to figure everything out and putting all this together is a lot of work, and it's really confusing.
Yeah, for sure. I know sometimes there's a couple things where I've kind of come to Luke and been like, either I, had some fever dream and thought of it, or like somebody mentioned it and like, and we made a note of it and put it down and talked about it for next year, whatever it was. And sometimes I'll come up with some idea and he's like, I mean, all right, we'll try it. I don't know. What else do you do? Just try it. And sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. But I feel like we do a pretty good job weeding through them.
I think one of my favorite Tyler King ideas was, I think you were the one that came up with the idea of having whiskey jam outside the stadiums.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would like to go on record and say that was Tyler's idea.
Yeah. No, I had a note in that I was just sitting around trying to think about how to make the stadium shows. Because, I mean, that was not at my direction. It was like Cappy and Luke wanted to figure out, Luke's manager, Cappy, and Luke of Luke Combs, wanted to figure out how to make the stadium shows like an entire experience, not just like a 3 or 4 hour concert you come to, but like an entire experience. And so we were just thinking of different ways. And I have a note somewhere on my phone that's like, it was from November of whatever before we did our first stadium show, and it was like whiskey jam out in front or whatever. And that's been really cool because we got to play it a couple times.
Yeah.
So that's been super fun to go play some of the songs that mostly songs that Jamie and I guess Dustin have gotten cut, and I have one, and then some other originals and a couple covers. But that's been super fun. It's really cool to see some of the up and coming artists coming through there. I mean, who played it last year. It was like, I mean, there's a bunch of great folks on it this year, but I know didn't they have Meg Maroney last year? They had some like
Colby, who's now on.
Yeah,
Colby,
played
that's
outside,
right. Yeah,
now he's inside.
yeah,
Yep.
very good. Welcome inside, Colby.
Yeah. And then like when I saw it, I saw Drew.
Yeah,
who, of course has opened before, but
Yep,
Who's inside now?
yeah,
also inside.
Absolutely.
Yeah, bring him in.
This year we had Tucker Wetmore
Yeah.
play outside, and I was looking at that dude's like Spotify numbers,
Yeah, they're insane, right?
and he's got like 2 songs out, and
Yeah.
they're like 100 million trillion
Oh,
streams
yeah.
or something.
That's wild, man.
It's crazy, and the virility of it. Also, by the way, he sounds a little bit like Morgan Wallen.
Yes.
But I'm excited to see where he takes it.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Well, that can be. I didn't get a chance to watch. Did we play that? We played that, right? The day he played. Is that we played Whiskey Jam that day?
No.
No.
It was a day. Maybe it was the day Ty Gregory played.
Okay, that might have been it. It was hot out, right?
Yes.
Okay, I remember. Anyway, I didn't get a chance to stay for a set. I had to go back inside and do something.
And lead.
And lead the print the set list.
Yeah.
And so I didn't get to see him. So I don't know what he sounds like live, but sometimes that's like something that there's a certain, vocal chain that they do in production, that makes somebody maybe sound like, because they're doing the same things that, they're doing to Morgan's voice or whatever. So I don't know if he actually does, but there's definitely, it's akin to, it's a thing. It's like, why wouldn't you want to sound like, such a huge artist? I mean, and Morgan sounds great. And Morgan's a really great singer too. I mean, awesome singer.
Absolutely. Yeah, and honestly, I mean, that's how a lot of the things happen. You'll see people that'll sound like Co Wetzel got popular, so you'll hear people sound like Co Wetzel. But then it's neat when you see, okay, what do they do next?
Yes,
where do
absolutely.
they take it from there?
And I think a lot of times people think that like, oh, they heard Morgan, and then all of a sudden, as if they just started doing music a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Which usually is not the case. Sometimes from TikTok maybe, but they usually assume that like, people normally assume that they're trying to emulate that. It's like, that's just how they sound.
Yeah.
They just have maybe gotten a little more, gas on the fire because they sound like something that's been really popular and made a lot of money. And so people around them are supporting them. They're like, well, that sounds like something I've heard make a lot of money or like something I've heard a lot of people really love. So it's like that. I think it's kind of maybe the inverse of what people think sometimes.
I mean, I feel like that happens with every freaking artist that gets super big, regardless of genre too. Like rap, rock, every genre,
I remember like I've known Luke first as just him being a buddy of mine, and we would jam acoustically at my house in like 2013 or whatever. And then when people started coming out and they were stuff's on the radio that sounds like Luke, it's like not only is my friend on the radio, but like people are on the radio sounding like my friend.
Yeah.
It's just like weird.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that's the interesting part for me, having been outside of Nashville for so long and now getting to kind of like be in town and see some of the stuff before it happens. Like, you don't understand how that works. But now that I'm here, I've seen those people that have been in that vein. Or like, dude, like think about Will Mosley, who doesn't sound exactly like Luke, but like freaked out meeting you because you were in Luke's band. You know what I mean? Like, there's kids that are coming up that like Luke had Eric and had like, other guys. Sure. Luke's that guy for so many of this genre now. Morgan's going to be that guy for so many of this genre now. It's just how it works. And it takes a groundbreaking act to be able to like help steer the lane. Right?
100%.
And honestly, as an artist, I mean, I can't really speak for Luke, but like, isn't it cool that you're steering the lane? It's
pretty wild.
It's nuts. Like, it has to be like, that's one of the biggest things you can do. You're changing the face of current country music, which is wild, to think about.
It was wild when when we were first going at it in Hurricane, the video with Kurt and who was it? Was it Rob or
the acoustic one
on the balcony? Was it
yeah,
Rob? Yeah, with you guys out on the balcony when that was kind of taking off. But like, he had other stuff obviously before that. He had Let the Moon Shine and Outlaw, etc. Can we talk about that? And everybody's like, I don't know. But he'd have those songs, and what I noticed even back then was people were covering him. Like, he didn't have a deal. He wasn't even like really playing many shows to speak of. He was just putting music out, and people were covering that music. Like there were hundreds of cover videos of Luke,
Yeah.
who at that time was just doing cover video. You know what I mean? To an extent, he had just
Yeah.
started putting out some of the original stuff, but he was also still doing like on Vine and stuff. He was putting little clips of covers and stuff. So he was still covering other people, and there were people covering him back then, which I think helped the music take off because then people were hearing the song and they're like, "What is this? What is this goodness? I need more of it." And then they find Luke through that.
What's crazy now too, because I mean that was all organic, right?
Yeah.
Luke didn't have a team. He didn't have people
No,
pushing.
it wasn't running ads.
Right. Now there are companies that will reach out to TikTok people that are having like some smoke on TikTok and be like, "Hey, I'll give you money if you cover this specific song."
Yep.
And it's a new release or it's an unreleased song for another artist. So it's like it's crazy how like that thing that was organic now is being put into effect as a marketing plan.
Which is every product.
Yeah.
Outside of music, but yeah, it's really wild.
It's wild, yeah. But that is super effective. If you have 250 people singing your video, wow, Luke had success with that. They were just doing it because they wanted to cover it.
Yep.
But now it's like, oh, that's a way that we can actually help grow this music without having to feed dollars directly to the company to put more eyes behind our video. The more eyes that are on every video, the more eyes will be on our video.
I wonder if people, were there people? Was that happening before Luke? Was that a thing? I wonder if people like go back and look at what was happening at that time and look at videos from that time period and go, "Oh shit, that was why." And that's maybe.
Yeah, I don't think so. Just because like social media wasn't what it is today then.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't imagine that it was like. So I feel like it was one of the first big like.
Yeah.
And
that's like from working at a record label. That's one of the things you see is like they're not recreating the wheel. They're noticing trends and then they're actioning them.
They're just pouring more gas on the fire.
Exactly.
Actioning is that an NBA term? I'm not aware.
No, it's a suit term.
Suit.
Super suit. Dude, I forget. Suit. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I think I'm getting more and more suity every week, honestly. I'm like, wait, we have to actually make money doing this? Damn. Yeah.
It do be like that.
Yeah.
What a cool job, though, if you're like an influencer.
Yeah.
I know like everyone makes fun of influencers, but someone's like, here's a bunch of money, cover this song.
Yeah.
I'm like, that'd be fun to do.
I didn't know, to be honest, I didn't know until we sat here that was a thing, which it makes absolute sense because people are like, hey, here's a bunch of money. Take a video of you using my lotion or
it's
whatever.
Not even that much money.
Lotion.
And that's the crazy part is like you can pay these other artists $100, $200, and because all they're doing is learning the song and playing it for a minute on a video. They're doing a verse chorus.
If there's anybody out there,
I was just gonna say, what's your price, Tyler?
Yeah, I don't know what my price is. It depends on how good or bad the song is. So if you think the price is super high, maybe go back and do a couple rewrites.
Yeah.
But no, I would. I mean, I can't say I wouldn't do that. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna just do any. I'm not gonna do like I do have a. I haven't even done it yet, and I'm like, well, I have a standard of quality. But I mean, as a musician, I absolutely do. I don't want to do. I don't want to be on something that's
stuff that's like on labels and stuff.
It's
not like just random people.
Right.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's like,
you're not having any independent artist that doesn't have a crazy good manager that's doing stuff like that.
Sure.
You know?
Well, so all independent artists out there, listen. I mean, you're hitting inside tips what the labels are doing. So this is so pay me to. No, I'm just kidding. Pony up.
Well, I mean, realistically, dude, if you're putting money into your own video on YouTube or your own video on TikTok, that shows that you put money behind it because they have to.
Yeah.
But if you're paying someone $200 to do a cover video of it, it looks organic.
Yep.
And now being in the industry, I can see how it
Which ones
is
are,
or isn't, right?
Yep.
And that's kind of a gray area for sure.
Sure.
But at the same time, it's not illegal.
No.
And,
No, it's cool.
and the other artist is making more money than they would have made before.
I mean, the whole business, the entire, and a lot of times even for what we're doing, like the live music and everything exists. The shows that we do exist because they want to sell, whatever beer at this. I mean, not only for that. I get that.
But that's
people are
part
fans
of
of
it.
it. But yeah, they like all the sponsorships and things like that. It's all to get eyes on X product or Y product or Z
isn't that
product.
weird? All this music practice, when it boils down to, it's like we're T-shirt salesmen or something.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, but it's better to be a T-shirt salesman than to like take all the money from an artist, The
T-shirt salesman absolutely makes the most money on the road. Facts, I don't know where you're at, but he's a high value
No doubt.
person out there.
If you can make it go from X to X times 2, on every show, that's a That's a huge margin. Of
or
course.
even triple X, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dang, maybe even 4X, you know,
Could be
depending on the
5.
crowd. Yeah. But
If
I
you're
think
an artist and you want your views to go up 2x, give Tyler $500.
yeah.
That's true.
Sing your song.
I will personally watch it 2 times as many times as it's been watched.
Oh man. But one of the things I wanted to talk about with you as a band leader too was, is there anything that you didn't think about that has been challenging for you in taking the role from just being a guy that's in a band to being the leader of the band?
Communicating between the rhythm section and the other musicians.
Yeah.
No,
Just Jake.
no, it is. It's a different thing. That is actually a really tough part of the job, where it's like, because those guys, maybe not all of them. I don't know. I've only band led one time, so I don't guess I have a lot of other experience to compare it to. But it is a different thing, because those guys, see things a little differently than the guys playing like chords and things.
Yeah.
Not that it isn't incredibly difficult. Could you imagine? Listen, we just need to do it one time, see how bad we would be to just get on the drum kit.
It almost happened the other night. At the end of the set, Luke will sign 1 trillion autographs, and so we'll just vamp and jam on random shit. And Jake was looking, he was like, come over here. And I was like, no, I'm not going over there now. I'm over here doing something.
I don't do what you tell me.
Yeah, Jake. You're not my boss, Jake.
We love you, Jake.
It turns out he was trying to get me to come play drums.
Oh, well, now you got to do that.
Yeah, that's going to happen for sure.
Yeah. What you got to do is you just gotta practice enough where you could do like one specific thing,
Boom,
Yeah, well,
boom.
that's like telling me to go like, okay, well, just practice that steel lick enough. And I'm like, I don't know if there's enough practice for me, my man. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
On steel guitar, but we did that. I did. You've taken the camera, the big, the handheld cameras sometimes that go up on the big screens. And I took David's camera the other day and took some photos. It's pretty funny.
Garbage time.
I know. Who was it? JD was like, he's like, I looked around and was like, nobody was. It was just me and Dustin and Jake and Mac. There's like 4 out of 7 guys playing music, or 3 maybe.
We've added a cooler of beer on the stage, which helps.
Before the end of this tour, there's going to be so much just shit going on by the end of the set.
If you come to our show and we're done and Luke's signing stuff and you're trying to beat the traffic, hang a little bit longer, because Jake's nipples will probably be on the screen on the jumbo.
10 out of 10 chance.
Yeah.
And those suckers are hard.
Well, yeah, no doubt. Anyway, not to change the subject, but back to the band leader thing. Jake's nipples.
Speaking of Jake's nipples,
is it difficult, like just kind of growing up singing country music? Is it difficult communicating to different people that play different instruments than you, I guess? Is that something that's different?
yeah, you do a lot of, or I personally do a lot of, like, if somebody who's Berkeley educated,
Right.
UC Berkeley, right?
Yeah, no, but okay.
Oh, is there another
Berklee
Berkeley?
College of Music in Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Sorry, I forget that one.
Yeah.
Could probably communicate better, than me, and as I rely on Kurt to do a lot, because I'm just like, that part, when it goes to the floor where it's like, wah, and
That's me.
and then so the other guys who grew up playing like me, like
Which is
half the band, 50-50. They're like, oh, okay, yeah. So after the wah to the wee woo, and they're like, yeah. Okay, we'll do that. We'll go to the 4 there, and they're like, okay, cool. But some of the other guys are like, what bar is that? I'm like, fuck, I can't count that high. I don't know. What are you talking about? So yeah, it's a little more. I'm a little more. How would you describe it, Kurt?
More layman's
Uneducated,
terms.
layman. Okay,
Yeah.
yes, layman.
You're like, you went to the school of hard knocks. You just been gigging
That's
forever.
true. I do be
Yeah.
gigging. That's right. Yeah. So I speak in more layman's terms than technical terms. And to be fair, there's absolutely no way we could do what we're doing, how we're doing it, if we didn't have some guys that knew the technical stuff part of it, and some guys who knew the street, I don't know,
Yeah.
side of it. And
G unit.
yeah, because I think it's an awesome combination, and it wasn't necessarily by design. It just was kind of happened that way. I mean, Luke just wasn't like, I think we've ever only done one actual audition in the history of the band. I think one physical audition. I think
Who is that? I don't even know.
that was Neil.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Neil.
Yeah,
Love you, Neil.
cut.
So for
Okay.
keys.
No, that's staying in there. Love
Okay,
you, buddy.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, keys player.
Keys, that was the only one. And everything else has just been
hiring friends.
Essentially, yeah. I mean, I guess you could call it. It's not. I mean, nepotism is family, I guess, right? So that doesn't really count. Not that we're not family now, but yeah, we really just hired. I mean, obviously me, I was just a guy that stuck around, and they were probably like looking at all the laws in Tennessee, like how can we legally fire this guy? And just because, man, I was getting just hammered drunk back in the day.
I mean, that's pretty
not necessarily
normal.
during the show, but we raised a little hell.
Yeah.
We were pretty good though. I mean, we're well aware. There's like, we didn't like. I don't think we broke anything.
Right.
We did pretty good. We might have acted silly sometimes, but yeah, there's other guys like Maxwell. We were looking at different bass players. That was the first thing I had to do was hire a bass player, and it's like that's a big thing, hiring somebody in the band, because it's a fit, man. You got to live on a bus together, or you got to live, travel on planes together and be around each other a lot. Like a lot. For certain periods of the year, we're around each other more than we're around, our significant others. And not as much anymore, but man, 3 or 4 years ago for sure. And for up and coming bands, you guys know, it's like if you're in a van or you're whatever. Remember the van days, Kurt?
Yep.
And Kurt was there, and we were just you have to have people that you like being around.
Yeah.
It's like it's not even about the talent as much as it is about, I think it's at least 60-40 maybe. I don't know. I haven't got to read Maxwell and Seth Costner's new book, Hired Musician.
I just got it.
Did you? Yeah, I just got it too.
I need to read it before I get fired.
I got to learn how to read first.
Yeah.
and then but I'm sure in there it essentially talks about, like, I mean, it's the hangman. I mean, it just really is. It has to be a vibe, and we've got the vibe just super dialed right now. Everybody's just super chill, and we all get along great, and it's really, really awesome. And so we enjoy being around each other. It's like sometimes like we're just up all night because we just like hanging out.
Yeah.
And I don't know that that's true in every band. Maybe it is. I hope it is. That's the hope, I guess, right? But I don't think that it's true for every band or every band and crew or every set of road folks. But we have a pretty good thing going, and it all starts at the top. I think it all starts with the artist. If you run into a group of guys on the road, another band or whatever, and it's like, now I will say some people have bad days, and some people sometimes you can take something from somebody and take it wrong, in the wrong way. But sometimes you run into guys who are just assholes. For whatever reason, they've been doing it too long, or they're just jaded, or they're tired of it, or whatever the hell their reason is. And usually that starts at the top. In general, they're allowed to be like that because that's how the artist, might be to other people. And Luke is the antithesis of that. He's just, easiest guy to get along with all the time.
I remember when Dan McLaughlin got hired, he was like, "What's the catch?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "There's no catch, dude. This is your life now. Like you're in."
Yeah. Yeah.
What's Dan do?
He was our RF coordinator and drum tech.
Okay.
Yeah. He started out as guitar tech as well. Yeah. So he had a lot of hats for a while. But yeah, it was I know we've definitely had guys who have come from other camps. A lot of the guys we have out, this is their first big gig. Not that it's like the first gig they've ever done, but like there are a lot of people out who it's like this is their first time being on like a big production tour. And then so we have a lot of, then half the other guys are like they've been doing it forever and they've seen a lot of, and it's like everybody just we have a great time. There's no but there's a lot less ego, I think, than some other situations. And that's just, I mean, why would it be any other way? It's just we're all just out there to support what Luke does, and we get to have fun doing it, and we get to ride around on golf carts in the stadium at midnight, and we drink on the job. Well, not everybody, not the people hanging stuff over heads and stuff. They don't.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
I don't like to talk to Dave. I doubt Dave's listening to this, but man, Dave Target. I don't like to talk to him too much because he starts when I see Dave looking up. It's a little windy out, and I see Dave. He's who the engineer, one of them, who helps make sure everything is safe and hangs everything, all the lights, and it's tens of thousands of pounds, hundreds of, I don't know, a lot of weight, all the motors, and it's just a ton of stuff, big safety thing. And I don't like talking to him a lot because it just, even when he's he knows what the hell he's doing. Obviously, we've been doing it for a long time. He's been doing it forever, but there's just something about where he's just yeah, well, and I'm just I don't know. There's just something I just don't like to think about. I don't like to think that there's,
But he's always thinking about it, and it's his job
yes,
too.
and it should be, and I'm glad it's not my job.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's really cool. So I don't know. We try to, be team players when we can, and then stay the hell out of the way when we need to.
Yeah.
That's kind of our gig. I feel like we just everybody kind of helps out when needed, and then stays the hell out of the way when you're not.
Yeah.
So.
When did you guys start doing stadiums, like really doing them, not like one-offs?
So 2 years. It'd be 2 years ago now. The first 4 or 5 stadiums.
Yeah, but the year before that, we did CMA Fest.
Okay.
And
yeah.
And 'cause I know I got crucified for saying this. The first time we were headlining a stadium show was in Denver, right?
Yep.
And Luke was like, "All right, boys, our first stadium show." And I was like, "Well, we played CMA Fest," and everyone's like, "Shut the fuck up, Kurt." I was like, "Wow, sorry, guys, jeez." But we played. It was like a 45-minute set.
I doubt it was even that long, right? Yeah. It's probably it's probably 5 or 6, 7 songs, maybe.
Yeah.
Someone yesterday actually asked me, "Do you get nervous playing stadium shows?" I can tell you, last weekend I was not nervous at all.
Yeah.
That 6 or 7 songs we played for CMA Fest scared shitless.
Yeah.
Well, and there's also 20 broadcast cameras, facing you.
Yeah.
You're going to be on TV if you fuck up or whatever.
And it's and playing in Nashville, it's like,
oh, they're all out there. All the
steel guitar players.
way better players than you are out there.
Skills watching you.
God, man, that was terrifying.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we're on digital amps. Vince came out on stage and was like, "This is the first time I've ever," and he's been in a long time. It's the first time I've ever been on stage where there's not one single guitar amp.
Yeah.
Which we had to do kind of for the 360 show because everything had to go under the stage, including all of our techs, all of our backline techs, all the monitors. Like, we couldn't just have a bunch of guitar amps blasting. I had already migrated. Kurt hadn't yet, and I don't know. Do you regret having done that?
No, because it makes Evan, my guitar tech, happier, which I like.
That's true. But it's really convenient because it sounds, even if it doesn't sound perfectly like you want it to, it sounds the same in Cincinnati as it does in Norway or Australia or wherever, or on TV and at 7 a.m. With instead of using some shitty backline stuff. And it's gotten so good, man. I don't know, that stuff's gotten really good.
Yeah,
I think like the neurals and the I don't know, all that stuff has just gotten.
Robots, man.
Yeah, AI's gonna take over for sure. We'll be obsolete, dude.
No, yeah.
Bro, yes. Absolutely.
That's a whole other podcast, but
It
yeah.
is.
I hope it goes like individually first, like to the guitar, where I can just kind of stand there with it, and it just kind of plays like a
Just
player.
think about what you want to play.
Yeah, with Neuralink. Yeah. I watched the guy doing that. I watched the guy with the Neuralink. Somebody was interviewing him, and he was like, "Show me what you can do." And he showed the little computer screen, like a Mac or something, and there's a little cursor moving around. He's like playing chess with it, and he's like, "Oh, is it like tracking your eyes?" And he's like, Wait, what? He's got the thing that Elon
Thinking
Musk
about
did.
it.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
That's where we're at. It's
crazy.
I don't
man.
think I like it, dude. I don't think I like it.
Yeah, because you're like, you're watching a movie or something in your brain, and it's got ads in it.
Yeah, and then you can't get out of it.
Brain ads.
Yes.
You're sleeping.
That's the end of it. Once you have the brain ads.
Ugh, that creeps me out.
That's what it all is. That's what everything. That's what we were talking about a while ago. It's all everything's for ad space.
Yeah.
It's like you do the stadium shows so that we can, you put whatever on the screen or on the
Miller
in the
Lite
stadium or whatever it is. Yeah.
Surfside.
Surfside.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. This segment brought to you by Surfside Vodka and iced tea.
At least it's delicious.
Yeah.
Natural flavors. What is that? I'm just
Also natural caffeine. So it's
Whoa.
like, it's kind of like, if you think about it.
Oh,
like,
it's tea. Yeah, I mean,
it's like
Maybe
a,
Four Loko.
yeah, mild Four Loko.
they figure out a way around it. They're
Yeah.
natural. They're like organic Four Locos.
Dude,
That's awesome.
I mean, and they're delicious. Also, if you throw these on ice, like, dangerous.
how much caffeine is in it?
No, I mean, not a ton.
But
Not-
some.
Yeah, more than none,
100
because it's
calories,
tea.
not bad.
Yeah.
Yes, tea, right.
They have,
Well, you can can you decaffeinate tea?
yeah, you can
How do
really
you think you
minimize
do that?
the amount of caffeine in tea.
What do you breathe that out of it, or do you?
I don't think so. I think it's like
heat
something
it?
you take
chemical?
out of it.
Is it a chemical thing? So is decaf chemicals?
No, they get a cat and they just drinks all the caffeine out of this big
And-
tub.
Yeah.
And then they put
And
it
It's
back
probably the robots
Yeah.
somehow do it.
And then the
you know?
cat pees it out, and then that's the decaf
That's the
tea.
good stuff.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, honestly, for us, it's like, okay, as a company, do we charge for someone to come on a podcast, or do they charge us, right? So if you're super famous, you would possibly charge us to be on the podcast.
Shit, we didn't talk about that.
Right?
Wait, really?
Oh, yeah. Like
So
if
if I
you're,
go on Joe Rogan, do I have to pay him?
no, because Joe Rogan's famous enough where you don't. But if you want to get like an MLB player on your podcast, they will charge you for it.
So it's the power balance.
Yes. Yeah. It's
Interesting.
based
So
on
we're
like
both nobodies. So
Amen,
this
right.
evens
same.
out.
So it's great.
What is this costing me? Shit.
But like that's
Are
one
you charging me
option.
by the minute?
Yeah. But it's the same thing as like video, right? So like if we did a video with an artist, are they paying us so they own the rights to it? Are we
Right.
paying them so we own the rights to it? Or is everybody equal and we're just doing it? But we can, and is there ability for any of those parties to make money off of the thing, right?
God bless.
And then the other option is like, for example, like we have an event at a bar. That bar pays us a small amount of money to host an event there, right? Surfside is helping fund that. They're also giving us product to give to the people that we have on our podcast and giving us beers to have on stage for those artists, right? So like they're spending money, but then you're going to say, "Oh, this is pretty delicious."
Yeah.
You know?
You are going to say it.
Was I paid?
Go ahead.
The Surf State vodka side is delicious.
There you go.
I'm just kidding. It really is good, actually. I'm kind of picky about drinks, and it's only 100 calories, so it can't have too much, extra beside. Because what's a shot of vodka? 80, 90 calories.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, it doesn't have too much extra.
No, and they're good. And that's like the
Oh shit! It says don't drink it during pregnancy.
I knew I forgot something.
thing too.
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, as a company, like we're in this studio, right? How do we pay for this studio?
OnlyFans.
Money.
Yeah, yeah. No
Feet-
one would
feet
sign
pics?
up for my OnlyFans. Oh yeah, you didn't see the cameras under the table, did you?
There's feet cameras under here.
Oh no!
But
I'm gonna be on a list now.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what do you want to do? Do you want to charge the PR company who's charging the artists some of the money they're charging the artists to have a person on the account, or do you want to have companies that are super stoked about what you're doing and want to be involved?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So it's just like in my head,
Yep.
that's a better way.
Yep.
It's like, do you want to have someone paying on our website to have us do an article about them, which, by the way, a lot of websites do?
100%.
Or do you want to say, hey, we think this is cool, and then there's an ad on the top for
Google.
sneakers? Yeah, whatever.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like some way it has to be net negative, not net negative, positive or at least flat.
Sure.
Or it's like, at what point is it just a hobby as opposed to a business?
Sure. Yeah. Charity, really.
Yeah.
At some point, yeah. That's fair. I guess, like you said, it's all power balance, right? It all
Yeah.
depends on who needs whom.
Yeah.
Didn't teach you that word at Berkeley, did they?
No, they didn't.
Yep.
Well, yeah. And
I'd
I mean,
rather have this than like if it's just like tuna cans or something. And
Yeah.
It just like reeks in here.
Yeah, I mean, at least it's like alcohol. I mean, we are literal degenerates. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's
True.
God
we're
bless.
like almost grown up degenerates now.
No, that's true. That's so true.
We are better than we were.
Yeah.
But ain't as good as we once
Once
was. I like how we all had that. That was nice.
R.I.P. Toby, we miss you.
Yeah, man.
So we talked
the
about
OG
that.
TK.
Yeah. Yeah. So we talked about how you got into the band. We talked about you being a band leader. Let's talk about this specific tour. What are you guys having? Anything that you've seen that has made this one special, or anything that has been like a problem that you've like had to overcome on this new set of stadium shows?
Like just specifically the show during the show.
Yeah, or even around it. In my head, just different things that you've kind of gotten. Is there anything that's out of
Okay,
the
I have
normal?
one. So
a few.
okay, so we at some point last year got a porta-john set up on the stage, right? It's a huge. There's a massive area. There's all the acts. So there's a bunch of stuff behind it. There's as much, I think, probably behind the back line of the stage as there is on the front. Like not the thrust, but like the stage part, the big stage. And some nights, so I always have to go pee a lot.
Yeah.
So I
You're
go
old.
yeah. Well, the kidney stones have reamed out my
yeah.
tubes or something,
Yeah, and the alcohol.
and lots of liquor. But I've tried shows not drinking. I've tried shows every way you could try them. Well, that's not true. I've tried shows a lot of different ways, and I kept to pee no matter what. Most nights. And the other night I went in, and it's like as dark as it's ever been back there in this porta-john, and you can't see it at all, can't see nothing. And it happened that the instead of walking in and the toilet is centered in the porta-john like most porta-johns, it was like the right justified, and I'm just pissing everywhere. So yeah, that's one of my big problems. Is Matthew Hornbeck, our stage manager. Love you, Matthew. He's awesome. He put glow sticks. He hung glow sticks in there for us now, so we can see when we pee.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, those are small. I mean, yeah, that's the small potato shit we're worrying about now.
Yeah.
We've got it pretty dialed. Kurt might have some. I don't know. I don't.
Well, I was going to say one thing that's kind of fun is that every year, Luke puts new music out.
Yeah.
And so songs that we played last year that weren't as big now go over way better.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Wild Things.
Yeah. Bonafide platinum smash, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like that song now people love it.
Yep.
And I mean they liked it last year, but
sure.
Before it was on the radio, it was just kind of like la da da. But now it's kind of like people like are obsessed with that song.
Yeah.
And
it's wild.
Streaming now. It's streaming better than Fast Car is.
Crazy.
What I've heard.
Yep. Yeah. It's an we were talking about the other night. It's an odd. Not odd, but it's different than most mainstream formulas of how a song is put together. Like intro, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, solo. That kind of thing. It's a little different, but it's so powerful.
Yeah.
And we've had that song and floating around. Luke got sent that song, Lord, a long time ago. I mean it was a demo with Randy, I think, we're singing on it. And we literally would jam that song like back in the Sprinter van. Kurt was there,
Yeah.
and we were jamming it. And so we like throw shade at Kurt sometimes because he's like, "Oh yeah, I was back. Remember back in the van days?" But he wasn't. He had to wait till we got a bus. So
Till Luke could afford me.
big league, big league. But yeah, we were jamming that song a long time ago. It's like we've always like just loved that song. And but yeah, so like Kurt was saying, it's like some of the songs take on a life of their own due to playing in a live show. Sometimes it's not the opposite, but sometimes you play a song a bunch and it's like maybe it doesn't get any traction, so you take it out of the set or whatever. We try to adapt. We haven't had to do that much this year, I don't think. The sets have stayed pretty similar. Mm-hmm. We've changed a couple of things, I think, and we have the fan vote every night, which we get to play some older songs
for
on
the listeners.
Yeah, so if you haven't been to a Luke show in the last couple of years, we do a fan vote thing.
Whose idea was that?
That was my idea.
Yes, it was.
Thank you, Kurt.
And so there's a partner on this as well. You tell it. I don't want to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So it started out. Yeah, we just wanted to see. I don't know. I just thought it would be cool. I thought people would want to have a say in picking part of the set. So it just ended up being one song. We did it. It was like just any random song we could think of. This year we've kind of got a list of I don't know, 10 or 15, 20 songs that we'll kind of stick to in that. Because the set's like 25 or so songs long, I think, each night. And it's like each night we just put up different songs. No rhyme or reason as to why. It's just maybe what we didn't do last week or didn't have up last week. Or sometimes I get a wild hair and like, well, what song's gonna beat the other one? And it is surprising sometimes to see, because it's like a legit fan vote. So we put the songs up on the screen when doors open, and then you can text in and vote for which song you want to hear in that slot. And
do all those people get added to the mailing list or a text list?
I think so. Yeah.
That's so smart.
Capturing the data from that, which is probably T-Mobile is the sponsor for that. So they put up the logo on that, the magenta moment.
Yep.
And in all fairness, even before they were paying Luke to pay me a salary to say that, not really. That's not how it works. I've been using it for a couple years. Actually, it's really rocks. I was very surprised by. I live out in the middle of nowhere, and it's the only thing that I can get any kind of service on at all. And it's worked all across the country and all across the world, really. And I've had all the other ones.
We love you, T-Mobile.
Every other one. Thank you, T-Mobile. T-Mobile Tuesdays. Free Little Caesars. Actually, free MLB TV.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Big baseball guy. But that's a value added. And man, we're just selling products on here. See, it always just wraps around to selling products. Damn it. No, they're not paying me to say that. I wish they would. So we do the fan vote, and I think there's normally 3 songs, and you text which one you want to hear, and then it's like legit. I mean, it's like, I think a lot of people think maybe it's like canned, like it's fake, but it's like Luke, like one time somebody walked up during the pre-show huddle because they cut it off right at 9:00 or like 8:59 or whatever, and so somebody walked up right before we went on stage and like said what it was. They're like, "Hey, the fan votes, whatever," because that's when they find out. At that time, and but we don't. We usually find out right before we play it, and then Luke doesn't know at all. We find out like coming back on to play the song, and Luke genuinely doesn't know, and he was like, "Damn it!" He's like, "Why are you telling me? You're not supposed to tell me." But it is a real thing, and so then we play random old songs or newer songs off the new record, and some of the songs have been like Surprised me. You Found Yours has been winning a lot. That's off the new record, which is, I mean, they're all great songs. But you just don't know what's gonna win sometimes.
Give us an example of 3 songs that could be nominated or that we've done.
So one night, let's see, last week it was like, I think maybe Beer Can, Don't Tempt Me With a Good Time, and Memories Are Made Of. And those are all kind of the same. I think maybe the same record. Are they all on the same record? I have a hard time remembering what's on what record anymore. He's got 80, 90 songs. I don't even know a lot. And then we'll maybe do some newer stuff like You Found Yours, Call Me, or Fridge Door, which is I definitely have another record, or Five Leaf or something like that. Yeah, but like Five Leaf, we don't do on Saturdays. We can't put it on the fan vote on Saturdays because right before the fan vote is, or right after, is Love You Anyway, and it's like it requires an entire other fiddle. What's a good fiddle cost? $3 or $4 grand? I don't even know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think mine, the one I use on stage with Luke, is probably I paid $1,500 to $2,000.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not as bad as I thought, I guess, but we should get it. No, I'm just kidding. We have so many instruments on stage right over there. Like how many like banjos, and anyway, so we can't play it on that night because it's like a half step. Yeah, logistically, it's a weird thing to do. So we would do that on Friday night only. So there's some weird logistics to go into it, but it is really cool to see what people are wanting to hear, and especially like what region is wanting to hear certain songs. You know, you can kind of go back and look over time and see like, oh, in the South they were really wanting to hear off of this record or hear this song or whatever. But You Found Yours has been winning pretty much every time we put it in.
Is there any songs that do better like in overseas versus the States or anything like that?
Fridge Door I know was a bigger song, I think, over like in Europe than it was in the States.
Do you know that tune, Nick?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it is a big tune here.
Yeah.
And we played it a lot of times live, but it was like a surf whatever that means in
Well, that was
in
big
the UK.
before it was cut too.
Yeah.
Like it had a lot of traction even before you guys like physically put it out, just from
Wow.
internet videos and such.
I guess I didn't.
I don't even remember
know that. Yeah. Wild. Yeah. It's hard sometimes when you're in it to know, to get a feel for like, because that's all you're seeing too. You know, in your feed, it's like it goes, oh, you must really love everything Luke Combs or whatever, and so like that's all not all the time. That's not true, but it's a little skewed what your worldview when you're this deep inside of it. You know what I mean? Compared to even being just one half step on the outside of it. Your view of it is definitely skewed being inside of it. And really, you can say that about the Luke stuff and then about music industry as a whole, industry. Like your view is definitely skewed. So it's really hard to get outside and like look at it from a fan perspective sometimes. So difficult, but something we try to do, but sometimes it's just impossible.
Yeah. It's definitely harder for me even being in town, like trying to take the view of like when I wasn't in town and when I was back in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
You know, because you almost know too much now.
Yep.
You know?
That's like when producers have like their like shitty speakers on top of their $10,000 studios, so they can like get, this is what it's going to sound like on an iPhone.
Yeah.
Right.
They
Yeah.
don't have that perspective sometimes.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I wish there was a way to do that with, which I guess I need to go to a show, which I just hate. See, that's the thing though. I'm miserable to go anymore. I've gotten so spoiled. That's part of the deal. And, going to whatever shows, like we just, usually if we go somewhere like we're going in, we don't have to wait in line, we don't have to go through security and empty our pockets or whatever. So it's like, but I need to do that. I need to go and just see what the experience is like at any given show. I should just do it at a Luke show. I should just get a ticket and go stand in the line and go in and see what the fan experience is like to come into, because I don't have to do anything to the line.
Pay for parking.
God, okay, never mind. How much are the drinks again?
$16, $14 for it. But I mean, they're huge beers.
Yeah, right.
They're like the
like
doubles.
I can only sell you one at a time. You're like, okay, but it's like 4
24
beers.
ounces,
No, you can get 2 and they're doubles.
Right.
So you can get like 4 beers at a time.
Right.
Well, that's why like the hard part about beers is you don't want to wait in line all the time, but also like, are you down to drink warm beer? Because you're gonna be drinking warm beer if you get 2 of those.
Somebody needs to sell like a stadium, like a cooled
an
cooled
Orca?
cup or something. Yeah, sell beers and Orcas.
Well, that's why I used to always drink twisted teas at shows, is because a tea isn't that bad warm. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Speaking
like you
of,
could have.
do we have any extras?
Yeah, there's one in the fridge. Go grab it. Kurt, you want to get it?
I'll get it.
I about walked up with these things for sure. I about ripped them off my head.
I've never stood up during a podcast.
Oh, look
Fixing
at that.
it.
Look at that is. I'm taking the last one.
No, we have more at the house.
Okay.
We just haven't restocked this fridge. I'm going to order all the stuff for it. We needed trash bags, water, and more booze. What a blessing.
Surfside.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about what is coming up
Yeah.
Do anything coming up? Anything
What's
cool?
coming up? Well, we're coming to Phoenix. So now I'm dating the podcast, so I don't know if that's cool or not.
No, that's fine.
So yeah, we have Phoenix coming up this night, or Scottsdale, I guess.
Yeah.
It's going to be, I looked at the weather, 100 degrees every day.
Dang.
But
Different
it's a,
kind of.
But it's a dry heat.
Yeah.
Listen, fuck off with the dry heat.
Still 100,
100
though.
degrees is 100 degrees, man.
I
God
say
bless.
when you're in the dry heat, it feels like you're under a tanning bed the whole day.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's just awful because, like, I mean, if like my throat and stuff is all dry. Yeah. Anyway, I guess
Now
I'm just,
sinuses. My sinuses are perfect. When
they're
I'm in the
better.
desert.
Really?
Oh, there's
Brutal, right?
I get
Yeah.
too dry. It makes me dry, and then like my body, I guess, tries to lubricate it with, shit,
The badness.
phlegm and shit. Yeah, and then so I'll get sick a lot. Like Las Vegas, my 21st. Now I'd been drinking for 4 days straight, but I got so sick. I went to Vegas, and just as soon as I got there for like 12 hours, I was done. I was sick,
Crazy.
sick as hell. But I just cranked the shower in my hotel room, and
I can't wait till the robots tell you where you should live. They're like, based on how sick you get in certain areas,
Yeah.
you should live in this place.
it'll be like a scan. It'll be like, what do they call it? A DEXA scan.
Yeah.
The big full body, like MRI kind of thing. And they'll go, based on your body, you should probably not eat anything for a couple months. Okay.
In Phoenix. Yeah.
Yes, in the heat. Sweat it out.
Yeah.
Then the Neuralink will be like making us move places we don't want to because
Yep.
Elon owns North Dakota, and it'll be like
Yep.
you have to move to North Dakota now.
You'll walk yourself to jail for whatever infraction you've committed.
That's like
Oh,
demolition,
man.
man.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, what do we have coming up? We have Phoenix, the rest of the tour.
We got a new song that we're gonna play.
New song, yeah. We have
Yeah.
"Ain't No Love" in Oklahoma. Yeah, we just worked that up, and it's a banger. Obviously. It slams.
I remember hearing like the clip of it, and I was like, okay. And then honestly, it's probably one of my top 5 Luke songs. It's awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. See, it's hard for me to say what, like, again, being inside it, like, I don't know what people are like, well, what's your favorite? I don't know.
Yeah.
There's so many, and they're all, not all, no offense, but they're mostly all really, really fucking good, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, so it's hard for me to differentiate, but yeah, it's a slamming track. I mean,
Smash.
it's great.
I bet it's fun to play live too.
It was, yeah, we did
We
it.
haven't done it yet.
Well, but not live, but we played it live in Soundcheck a bunch of times the other day, and it was fun. It's fun to play.
It's just like musically is very simple and very good.
Yeah.
So it just
Yep.
translates so well.
And that lick is
like,
just in my head all the time.
And Luke's voice on it. Sick.
He comes out of the gate just full throttle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
it's
like-
up there.
I'm like,
I haven't seen
can't
the
wait to
harmonies
see
on it yet because we haven't. Yeah, I haven't seen the harmonies on it because Luke wasn't there when we did it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And so I haven't seen the harmonies. But luckily, the verse or the chorus is like
Lower
just a
than
little
the
more down.
verse.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like I think it's gonna work in my favor a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that song's we'll start playing that at some point, just whenever Luke wants to. Sometimes it's like when it's brand new, we like to let it marinate for a little while
Yeah.
on the interweb.
Build some
Let
love.
people know it, yeah, instead of
Yeah.
just being completely brand new.
Yeah. That makes sense, especially with the wealth of songs that you guys have to choose from,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we essentially have what Kurt would you say besides like I don't know, there's like 18 or 20 songs we kind of just have to kind of do every night, including songs that aren't number ones. Like we'll cut some of the ballad number ones, like super ballad number ones. We don't do leave-in every night. It's just super down. Not that we don't like that all the time, but
That's just when everybody fights.
right.
Yeah.
When it gets quiet enough for people
Yeah.
to like hear the chirping.
Yeah.
Like, ah, shit. For real, we've had big fights during those songs. I'm like, damn. And then when you think about it, like it's because it got quiet. Yeah. Big brawls and brawls.
Dude, that should be
Brawls and brawls.
You got to have your own podcast.
Yes.
That's the name of it.
Absolutely. We got a Jello pool or whatever. I don't know.
We're not putting that in here.
Damn.
I was gonna say we could do it here, but not if we have a Jello bowl. Not trying to clean up all that Jello.
That's true.
Let's do it outside though. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm down for Jello pool.
Raise Rowdy on location.
Yeah. Jello pool.
Yeah. Big time. Like a big. I'm not talking a kiddie pool.
No, we're
we want
talking
the
like
whole-
pool size.
How much gelatin would it take to fill a residential swimming pool?
And then the other question is how.
Who's going in?
What's the
Don't we-
temperature?
Can you get out of it? It seems
Yeah,
dangerous.
you can get out of
think?
it. Yeah, you might need a rope to get your.
That's
help.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
By yourself, you jump into the deep end of a residential sized pool of gelatin. Can you get out?
Also,
Or is it like
how
a
is
grain
the-
silo where you just
How
suck
is the
shit?
gelatin presented? Is it like you fill the pool with gelatin and let it mold, or is it
Yeah,
like
yeah.
cubes of gelatin?
Don't you have to
hadn't
like
thought about that.
refrigerate it?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Well,
saying.
I think
you
it-
can make jigglers, but jigglers still would in this weather still would.
Jiggler.
Yeah, Jello
So just
jigglers.
so you find a spring night. I've never heard jiggler.
I mean, either. I don't know.
Jello
Well, I
jigglers
have,
were
but
like
not in that context.
They're the thicker ones that are like a little
Yeah,
more
yeah.
dense that
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can like hold.
Yeah.
That's a Jello jiggler. It's by Jello.
Oh, you're talking like a little. Oh,
So like if you have like a square or like a
I'm with
cookie
you.
cut out
I'm with you.
of Jello.
Like a Jello shot.
Yeah, it's basically Jello, but you don't put as much water in it.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, you have to wait on a cool evening. So
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't fucking know.
You know,
Jello.
put that in the idea list.
Yeah. We're not even high. Jello podcast. All right, we'll put that on the list.
I'm in.
Maybe we could
sold
get
me.
Jello to sponsor us for that.
Who owns them? More like Kraft or
But
something.
it's like every guest has to come sit in a pool of Jello. We're always just in a pool.
There's
of
not.
Jell-O.
You're not doing anything.
Jello.
You're not really doing anything with the Jello.
No, we just have the microphone
just
like over the edge of it, and you're
in
just
it.
like neck deep in Jello.
But we're talking about this super serious shit. We're like, so tell us more about you losing your father. And someone's like crying in this type of Jello.
Can you imagine the sound of it? By the way.
No. Oh.
ASMR podcast. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a different kind of thing.
Amen.
We'd have to charge extra.
What
for
does that stand for? I don't know what it stands for.
I don't know. Let's use the robots.
Alexa. You don't, nobody knows what it stands for?
I don't have
The A,
Alexa.
is the A ass?
Yeah.
Does.
Ethereal
No,
sound.
ethereal is E.
Oh, that's yeah. Berkeley.
Ass ethereal.
Asthereal.
Autonomous sensory meridian response.
Oh, so it's like a science thing
Yeah.
that they've now used as a marketing term, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you.
So like if you
Brushing a condenser mic with it. That's
Yeah,
pretty
or
funny.
like-
with the state side.
like all of that.
Boy.
We're not even high. Right.
We're not even high.
Some John Cage piece or something.
Yeah. But I did something one time where I like tapped on something as I was recording, and they were like ASMR. I'm like, I don't even know what you mean. So I had to look it up. That was like probably 2 years ago. Because it's a pretty recent thing that people are doing.
Yeah,
that, right?
yeah. I mean, I know like what the videos are that say that. Like I get it's like the well, you
Yeah,
can't
like
even
crumpling
really hear that.
paper. Like,
Yeah, I get that, but like
It's always
it-
like chicks doing it. It's always weird.
yeah, they're way better looking.
Is
than
it?
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. People are into weird stuff, you know.
That was not
hey,
the
that's
ones I
true.
watched.
We're not. Ah, okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Well, this is going on the Patreon, I guess. Jello-
Extended cut.
Yeah, Jello ASMR.
Are you guys? Is that a thing? I didn't know. You guys on Patreon?
Yeah, we haven't really done anything on it in
No,
a while.
not really.
We used to put like the full videos when we did recordings,
Just
and we
fucking-
just do like clips, and
Yeah.
we put the full video of like the songs we would do on there.
Okay, that's cool.
It's definitely something we've talked about because it's again like, how do we make it so that we're not losing $2,000 a month having a podcast?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like, what do people like want? Like, because
Yeah.
it's easy to like, you can get a couple like comment, like 3 or 4, 5, 10, 20 comments of like, well, we really want to see this. You talk about this, or we want this content. But it's like, does that speak for 20,000 people? Like,
Right.
I don't know. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it's like, yeah, what the hell do people want? I try to find weird things on TikTok and shit to do, like go live during our sound check or whatever. But it's like, I don't know what people want. I really don't.
Yeah.
It's tough because I think I think people don't know what they want.
Well,
I don't know what I
They
want.
don't. And
So it's like,
honestly,
it's just constant.
I just had this conversation with like an artist, and then I talked to Matt about it too. And it's like, okay, what value can you provide? Me and Kurt have talked about that extensively in your content. So is it funny? Is it heartfelt? Is it give information?
Yeah, educational.
And then the other side of it is what makes you, and how much of that are you willing to give to the masses,
Sure.
right?
Yeah, that is absolutely a really great way to describe it. It's like,
Yeah.
because you're giving, yeah,
A piece of yourself
100%.
and the information of yourself to the
100%.
people.
Yeah.
So as an artist, I mean, you kind of have to figure that out. Like our friend Cassidy Daniels just started doing this thing called Hippy Dippy Redneck.
yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, it's fun.
Which is great.
Yeah.
And it's starting to work. But it's like, okay, what makes you, Cassidy? What can you share of that with
Yeah.
the people? And it's really starting to like get her some traction on social media.
Yep.
She's like either doubled or tripled her Instagram.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And it's because she's working on, hey, this is who I am.
Yep.
How can I show someone who I am?
Yeah, it's all a different way of telling. I mean, just like music and songs are a way
Yeah.
of telling your story. It's just an additional way to
Yeah.
tell your story.
Because I mean, people feel connected to Luke. People feel connected to Morgan Wallen. People feel connected to all those people, and the music's one part of that. But the other part of it is like, what's your life? I mean,
Yep.
think about like Luke and Nicole, or like Kane Brown and his wife. Like they feel connected to that other person. That's that person's significant other, even if they don't really know them.
100%. Yep.
it's weird for me, and we're not famous, but like it's weird for me when people listen to our podcast extensively or like follow us on social media, like they feel connected to me, and I'm like, I'm not famous.
Yeah.
But
it's because, like you
interesting.
said, you're giving some of a little piece of yourself in whatever way, or maybe a big piece, whatever, depending on the person, to the podcast, which is then consumed by the person. And so there is a little, I mean, you know, and definitely there are some people out there who can maybe fake a lot of it. I fucking can't.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm so glad to be with Luke, because it's like everything's just real. Like there's no, it would be exhausting to me to like have to put on like some type of front, or like, put on like I'm somebody that I'm not. But it's like we just go out there and we kind of, you know, we wear kind of what we want, and we just kind of, you know, we not do what we want, but I mean kind of. I mean we're just real guys, just, you know, out there, fuck ups and all, you know.
There's nothing's choreographed. There's
No. I mean there's things like we do multiple times, like, you know, not per show, but like that we'll do in the same way sometimes if the song falls in the same, just because because it's fun.
Yeah.
Well,
but people like rhythm and they like
100%.
routine. You know?
But it's like there's never been one time where we've like been at sound check or wherever rehearsing and been like, okay, Kurt, I need you to walk over here stage right, and then I need you to step
kick,
back, right,
step twirl.
right.
Yeah.
And again, not to knock it, because like people do that and that works for them, but it's like that's just not Luke's thing.
Yeah.
It's just Luke's thing is like you said, and I think that you're giving away more of yourself to be like that.
Yeah.
To an extent, not that it isn't maybe easier sometimes to
Yeah.
just be real, because I think it is. I find it to be easier to just, you know, be real and be honest.
Yeah.
But it is, you are giving a little bit more of yourself.
Yes.
To the public or whoever is
Especially when
consuming
you have
it.
a lot of experience.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
Like Luke grew up doing like the cover gigs, and you do, you know, like we've all been gigging.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
One of the things that I always say is like, it's not that someone's like, I mean, there's bits, there's, you know, Wheeler Walker Jr. and stuff like that.
Sure.
But what you're doing is you're taking what makes you you and you're just amplifying it.
Yep.
Right? So you're just like, if your thing is whatever, and like the cool thing about Luke is his thing is about being Luke.
Yep.
So he just is more himself, and that's his thing. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like,
Sure.
Wallen's thing is he's a freaking guy that goes crazy sometimes and does like silly stuff that he can get in trouble for. That's part of who Morgan is.
Yep.
But it's even extreme because he's in the public eye
100%.
and because he can kind of do whatever he wants now. He's
Sure.
kind of proven that, you know, like it's one of those things where like that's part of what makes him him.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like when you become a dad, are you willing to give that to your fans, right?
Yep.
Like, are you willing to talk about it? Are you
Sure.
willing to talk to talk about your kids, maybe even show them? You know, everybody's different.
Yep.
But and as you develop, like think about Hardy. Like that Hardy is not the Hardy that started on the first EP.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
He's still the same guy.
100%.
It's just who he has become as an artist and the growth of that thing and what part of himself he's giving to the
Presenting.
people.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
So-
I remember Hardy, Michael, came out to write with Luke or something. I think when we were playing maybe New York or somewhere. I don't know. And he was like telling us, you know, about he's putting out this record and played us, you know, some of the tracks were obviously just slamming, and I remember him and Morgan would get on
Live.
like IG Live. This is before, I think probably before TikTok even maybe existed. How long has that even been around? How many years has it been an app?
Maybe like 20
like COVID?
18?
Oh, before COVID. Okay.
Slightly before
okay.
COVID.
So
but
it would have been out, then it just would have not been
Wasn't
popular
big.
here
Yeah.
in America at least.
Yep.
But they get on IG Live and like, you know, I'm assuming maybe had a couple drinks after, you know, post show because they were touring together,
Oh, yeah.
and they'd get on IG Live and just, you know, they'd have fans come on or whatever. They'd have a couple 2,000 or 3,000 people at 3 a.m. or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, we would also be rolling down the road on the bus.
Yeah.
At that same time because we were touring, and I think we had maybe toured with him. We'd toured with Morgan.
Yeah,
I think
for
we'd
sure.
we had or were or something. Anyway, and so we would be on the bus at the same time. They'd be on their bus in the back
Yeah.
lounge of their bus. And there was one night I got on and I had had a couple drinks, and I would just always get on his live and comment like.
Just mess with them.
Just say dumb shit. Like
Yeah.
I doubt that Hardy remembers me because like I said we met a few times.
Yeah.
And I would just be like, Michael Hardy is my biological father, or like whatever. And fans would get just really defensive, and they would get pissed, like, you shut up, you don't know, and you don't even, you know. And it's like there was one time that I was saying all that shit, and Morgan was like, "Who's this guy?" and like added me to the live.
Yeah.
And I was 3 sheets to the wind, man. I was gone. I think I was probably by myself in the front. I was the last one up. It was 3 a.m.
Yeah.
and my phone died the moment he put me online, which is a blessing.
A
I
blessing,
probably
yeah.
most likely a blessing for me.
So funny.
I have to say, I was at Eric Church's bar. I went to that residency thing.
Oh yeah, how was that?
It was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Who all what was the setup? Did he have his band or was it just him acoustic?
All right, see these surf sides? These are all his guitars. And he's got 5 guitars, and he's in the middle.
Okay.
And it's just him acoustic. And so he'll pick up a guitar, and then he'll play it, and then he'll put it, and they're all tuned differently and sound differently.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, Eric's never going to listen to this, so I'm not going to say anything. It's kind of like the Bruce Springsteen on Broadway thing, or like G's thing at Vegas. But it's basically his life story, and he'll be like, oh yeah, I grew up, and this is the kind of stuff I learned and then he'll play a cover, and he'll be like, yeah, and then I wrote this song, and it's like, Pledge Allegiance to the Hag, and two pink lines, and I would go into like record, meetings, and to get a record deal, and they're like, is that song about pregnancy? And he's like, yeah, and they're like, nope, next. And then it's just talking about, he would go and play these songs. It was just storytelling. I don't want to give away too much of it, because if you get the chance to go, you absolutely should go, because it was fucking awesome.
Is it like ticketed, or is it like just a general admission, or like
no? There's seating and some standing room.
Okay, like tables and so.
But it's like impossible to get tickets to. Yeah. At this point.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so it's the venue, what's it called, Chiefs?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Chiefs,
kind of like the Ryman and House of Blues combined.
I guess I haven't been in there. I don't think.
No,
It's
it just
pretty
opened.
new.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it? Okay. Fuck,
Yeah.
It's a sick venue.
Yeah.
And there's like the attention to detail and everything there's so many little Easter eggs everywhere.
Yeah.
And the bottom floor is all his tour posters.
Oh, cool.
Everywhere.
Wow.
So it's kind of like, you kind of feel like you're on drugs.
Is somebody archiving all of Luke's stuff, do you think? All like every
I
single
have no
concert
idea.
poster? I hope they are.
Me too.
Surely.
I meant my house is basically Luke Combs merch archive sometimes.
Well, at the minimum, they would probably have at least digitals, and they could
Yeah.
reproduce them. But yeah, no, that's super cool. We played that thing, and when is this coming out?
Next week.
Okay. Well, we did this thing at one of the bars down there for this other thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, those artist bars are really, really cool I haven't been in a lot of them, but like just all like some of the cool pictures and memorabilia they have up. I don't know what Luke's is going to be like at all.
Me neither.
But I'm
Do they have dates on that or anything? Is it going to be done this year?
No idea.
Don't know.
Maybe. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I think Morgan's was supposed to be done like now.
Yeah, they're
It's
not
just-
letting them put the sign up. Did you hear that?
Well, yeah, I heard that, but like I don't think it was going to be done without the sign. I don't think.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it was supposed to be this weekend. I think that they said Laney's is, which that was already a full fledged.
yeah, it was just
They're
FGL.
just-
R.I.P.
But
FGL.
They
We
just
miss you.
photoshopped her head on their bodies. I
Yeah.
love it.
That would be really funny. That'd be awesome.
It's those bars. I mean, they're licensing deals.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I
most
see.
of
I'm
them.
wondering if I feel like if I had to guess, just knowing kind of how G operates. Oh, he's gonna listen to this. I think. I'm assuming that his is probably. He probably has a large controlling portion
I
of that.
bet.
I'm sure he's using a company
been
to
there
run
yet?
it. I haven't been there, but
I've
I'm
been
just.
there.
Is it cool?
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
And I went on a
Oh
date.
yeah, we went together.
Oh, cool.
We went to a thing with Sony actually.
Okay, cool.
Volvo was playing, and we went and hung out with them.
Nice.
Well, we didn't hang out with Volvo. We
Yeah. Right.
Sony people.
Sony folks.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming that he's probably at least one of the only ones that's like. It's probably more him than some of the other. I'm assuming. I don't know. I would assume like somebody like Luke probably contractually. I have no idea. I have no basis for this whatsoever. I'm assuming somebody like Luke, just knowing him and knowing how he runs his career, like retains X amount of control. Like probably a large amount of control as to what goes on or what not what goes on, but like how it is
Creative
presented.
direction.
Right.
Yeah.
Creatively. Now, as far as like the day-to-day operations of it, like who they throw out and how security handles, like that's the legal stuff. Like he's obviously not nowhere, but as far as like what each bar looks like or kind of what music type is played or what
All right.
bands are kind of thing. So
You get one drink named after you at Luke's bar. What is it?
what is the name of it or what is the drink?
I think I know the answer to one of these, but yeah, either one or both.
Damn, I don't know. That's a good question. I'll have to put in some more thought. Why? What do you think? What would you think it is?
I feel like yours would just be like a Jameson and like
Fair.
it used to be ginger ale and now it's soda water and
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I have on stage every night. But it's like maybe then just some version of like a really delicious, Vegas bomb or something.
Yeah.
Can you say bomb on here?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Cool. Bomb. Yeah. Because like as an homage to the past.
Old Tyler.
Don't do a lot of Vegas bombs anymore. But if
that's like Red Bull and Jameson or something, right?
Red Bull and a Crown Red Bull and peach schnapps.
Yeah.
Some people use maybe some cranberry in it, which is that wouldn't
Not mine.
wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Not my Vegas bombs.
Yeah.
Hell no. But yeah, I don't know. It'd be something like that. Yeah, something like a Jameson soda lime or.
I told Cappy I wanted a veggie burger on the menu named like
The Kennan.
Kurt. Yeah, or something. he was just like, shut up, dude. Not feeling it.
Having said that, we are actually Steve hit us up and he's like, "Hey, I want to put a Raised Rowdy sandwich on the menu at Losers."
Hell yeah.
So we're trying to figure out what we're gonna do with that.
Yeah. How do you name that?
Well, I don't know. And what is it gonna be? Matt and I were like chatting on it loosely. I'm of course from Pittsburgh. He's from New York. You have an idea?
I mean, I feel like the branding would have to be like a fried bologna sandwich or something.
So
and it comes with PBR, like
Sure, but like I was thinking of the name. I guess I wasn't even thinking what it was.
Yeah. So in my head, it was like, all right, well, Pittsburgh, what's it known for? And then like Matt's the other half. He's from New York. Like, what's New York known for? Is there a way we can mash those up?
Philly pizza.
pizza cheesecake.
But pizza isn't, or Philly isn't.
I know it's not
Pittsburgh.
Right. What's
So
like a Reuben? I don't know. What's a Pittsburgh
I don't know.
sandwich?
Well, the permani
Fries.
sandwich, which is fries and coleslaw on a sandwich.
Okay.
But we also, my favorite thing in Pittsburgh, when I go to Pittsburgh and people are like permanis, I'm like Fatheads. And Fatheads is a place that is known for like what they call their headwiches. And a headwich is just like a ridiculous sandwich. So it's like
Just
drunk food that you would eat.
Yeah,
too late at night. Like,
Yeah.
So like the headwich that I would get is like Southside Slopes. So it's like multiple kinds of meat. The sandwich is humongous. You know what I mean?
This
like,
is such a fucking field. I mean, not a
It's
Pittsburgh thing. Like
I
such
know,
a.
there's like
I don't know
sandwich
anything
lore.
about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the deal? What's the deal with like the sandwich? Like I feel like some states are known for a lot of things. but, like,
Permanis is
what's
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but like why are sandwiches? Why is that such a big thing?
I don't know. I think it's just food in general. So if
Okay.
you think about like Nashville, it's
Sure.
definly hot,
Hot
chicken,
chicken,
and then
right.
secondary is probably barbecue here,
Okay,
right?
I'm with you.
It's just a blue collar food.
Yes.
Okay.
What happened with Permanis is they brought in French fries, and they were like didn't have a way to serve them. So like someone had brought in
Fair.
potatoes, so they chopped them up and put them on the sandwich.
Isn't that like how the ice cream cone was invented or something? Like the
Yeah.
waffle cone. Sorry. Like
Exactly.
They ran out of cones and they had waffles and they had ice cream. Like, well, fuck.
Necessity is
Necessity,
the
mother of-
Yeah. So I was like, also Western Pennsylvania, more like where I'm from, as opposed to Pittsburgh, because I was closer to the West Virginia line than I was the Pittsburgh.
You know, like the
growing up.
Amish stuff.
No,
No.
just like straight up meth, you know.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm with you.
But less teeth.
Call it the
you
shake
know?
and bake.
Yeah. Well, is pepperoni rolls. So I'm like, is there a way that we could incorporate?
Tostinos?
No.
No, I think you sound like Trailer Park Boys.
like a loaf of bread
Oh.
with pepperoni in it. Like my mom takes a chunk of pepperoni that almost looks like a finger.
It's the good kind, the $7 kind.
And said
Whatever.
inside of like just bread that's almost like pizza dough bread.
Yeah.
But it's just literally pepperoni and bread or pepperoni cheese and bread.
So like a sausage wrap, but like
Yes,
with pepperoni.
Pepperoni. And they're delicious.
Yeah, sure.
You know? So I was like, is there a way we could incorporate that? I don't know. Well, so
Hell
we're
yeah.
thinking about it. But if you guys think of anything good, let me know. And if you guys think of anything good, let us know too.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a corn dog would just be
just straight up
Just
corn dog.
It's a sandwich. It's on the sandwich menu, but it's just a fucking
everyone
Corn
gets-
dog.
I mean, it is kind of like a sandwich.
or a hot
Yeah.
dog. Well, how about a hot dog with a fucking stick of pepperoni?
Yeah.
That's
It's,
weird.
So weird. Is it a sandwich? I
If
don't know.
it's covered in 360 by bread, it's okay. But if it's just the bun, then it's weird.
So if the
Yeah.
hot dog is bigger, it expands beyond the.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, I don't know the
Okay.
rules.
Am I allowed to take a pee break?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could
We
even
could just
We've
Yeah.
loaded me
close
up
the
on
podcast.
fucking caffeine and shit. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
We could close the podcast, and that
Okay.
way we can make you come back and do another podcast.
Hell yeah.
Well, guys, I'm Nicky T,
Yes, I'm Kurt Ozan.
I'm Tyler Key.
Yeah.
and thank you for listening to the Raised Rowdy podcast.
Yeah.
Cheers.
All right. Bye. We'll see you in the front row.
And we're
See
out.
you in the front row.
See you in the front row.
Yay.
See you outside the round.
See you in the pit.